What if everything you knew about history was wrong? Smash that like, hit subscribe, and dive into What If History, where we explore the worlds that never were. Imagine a single building that could have changed the entire course of humanity. A building filled with scrolls and manuscripts, with secrets gathered from every corner of the ancient world. A place where the knowledge of thousands of years was collected, studied, and preserved. This was no ordinary library. It was the Library of Alexandria, wonder of the ancient world, a treasure chest of human genius. But tragedy struck. It was destroyed, and with it, centuries of wisdom vanished forever. So here's the question we dare to ask today. What if the Library of Alexandria had survived? Would we already be living on Mars, free from disease and poverty? Or would humanity have destroyed itself under the weight of too much power, too soon? The story begins around 300 BC in Egypt. Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great, was one of the most dazzling cities of the ancient world. Its port bustled with ships, its lighthouse one of the 7 wonders guided travelers across the Mediterranean, and at its heart stood the library. The Ptolemaic dynasty, rulers of Egypt after Alexander, dreamed of building the greatest collection of knowledge on earth. Their goal was simple yet ambitious: to gather all the world's wisdom in one place. And so, the Library of Alexandria was born. It said that any ship entering Alexandria was searched. The crew was required to hand over every manuscript and scroll on board. These were copied and the originals stored in the library. Over time, it became a magnet for scholars from Greece, Babylon, India, Africa, and even China. Inside, the scrolls covered everything: Greek philosophy and mathematics, Egyptian medicine and anatomy, Babylonian astronomy, Indian number systems and philosophy, Chinese engineering, technology, and perhaps even early gunpowder notes. Some say there were as many as 400,000 to 700,000 scrolls. Imagine shelves stretching for miles, packed with human genius. But the fate of the library was not so kind. Through wars, fires, and political neglect, the library burned at least partially multiple times over centuries. And with it, much of humanity's accumulated knowledge was lost forever. So what exactly did we lose? Let's dive into some tantalizing examples. The first steam engine, an ancient engineer named Hero of Alexandria described a device called the Eolipile. It was a simple steam-powered sphere that rotated when heated. In essence, it was the world's first steam engine, invented nearly 2,000 years before James Watt's Industrial Revolution. Now ask yourself, if that idea had been preserved, studied, and developed, could ancient Rome have had factories? Could steam locomotives have crossed Europe in the year 100 AD? Advanced medicine, ancient Egypt already had surgical tools, medical texts, and an understanding of diseases. Indian texts like the Ayurveda described advanced surgery and even plastic surgery. Greek doctors like Galen documented anatomy and treatments. What if antibiotics, vaccines, and modern medicine had been discovered in 200 BC instead of 1800 AD? Humanity might have beaten smallpox, the plague, or even cancer centuries earlier. Millions of lives could have been saved. Astronomy and the universe did. You know, the Greek astronomer, Aristarchus of Samos, suggested the Earth revolved around the Sun in the 3rd century BC. That's 1,800 years before Copernicus. What if records of heliocentrism, star charts, and planetary motion had been preserved in the library? Humanity might have launched telescopes centuries earlier, and perhaps even reached space long before the 20th century. Lost maps of the world. Some believe the library may have contained advanced maps, possibly even knowledge of the Americas. Centuries before Columbus, there are whispers of ancient seafaring civilizations that mapped coastlines far earlier than we think. What if global trade routes had been established 1,000 years earlier? Entire continents might have connected in the ancient world, changing everything we know about culture, power, and empires. If preserved, humanity could have unlocked these breakthroughs 1,000 years earlier. So let's enter our what-if timeline. The library survives. Scrolls are copied, studied, and spread. Across civilizations, knowledge flows freely from Egypt to Rome, from Greece to India, from China to Europe. By the Middle Ages, the world looks nothing like our timeline. Instead of knights in armor, imagine kingdoms using steam-powered war machines, primitive cars, and even airships. Medicine cures epidemics that, in our world, killed millions. Plagues are stopped before they spread. Farmers use advanced irrigation and machinery, leading to booming populations. By the year 1200, Europe might already be industrialized. The Renaissance doesn't just spark art, it unleashes electricity, chemistry, and flight. Picture this: Leonardo. Da Vinci isn't sketching flying machines. It's actually building them, guided by preserved blueprints from Alexandria. By 1500, Europe could be launching rockets. By 1600, humanity might have stepped on the moon. And here's the mind-bender. If technological growth accelerated that early, humanity could be exploring distant planets right now in the year 2025. Colonies on Mars, perhaps even expeditions beyond our solar system, but knowledge is a double-edged sword, imagine. Medieval kings or warlords gaining access to atomic theory, or ancient empires creating gunpowder weapons. Centuries before they appeared in China, wars could have been far more devastating, far earlier. Whole civilizations could have been wiped out by technology they weren't ready to handle. Nuclear fire in the 1400s? A horrifying possibility. The question becomes, was humanity wise enough to handle such power in the ancient world? Or would too much knowledge too soon have destroyed us? So here's the paradox. If the library survived, humanity might be centuries, even millennia, ahead of where we are. Now disease cured, space colonized, technology unimaginable. But humanity might also have burned itself out in wars of mass destruction, long before we reached modern times. The Library of Alexandria, then, is both a dream and a warning. The Library of Alexandria remains one of history's greatest mysteries. We may never know exactly what was lost, but imagining what could have been reminds us of the fragile link between knowledge and survival. So, I'll leave you with this haunting question. If the library had survived, would humanity today be gods among the stars, or ashes in the ruins of its own brilliance? Maybe we'll never know what was lost in Alexandria, but by asking what if, we keep the spark of that ancient fire alive within us, whispering through time, shaping our questions, our stories, and the infinite what-ifs that define humanity's search for meaning.